Welcome to another edition of Holy Scriptures and Holy Places. This time we have come to Jericho. Going out from here, Jesus encountered the blind man Bartimaeus and healed him of his blindness. But there is something very strange written in the Gospel of St. Mark. Let us hear the text. They came to Jericho as Jesus and his disciples and a large crowd were leaving Jericho. Bartimaeus, son of Timaeus, a blind beggar, was sitting on the roadside. So Jesus came into Jericho and went out. What is that strange expression? It seems as if Jericho should not exist. In order to understand this, we need to return to the story of the first Jesus, Joshua, son of Nun, known in Greek as Jesus, the son of Nun, the one who conquered Jericho and destroyed it. For when he had finished the conquest and Jericho was in ruins, Joshua, Jesus, the first Jesus, made a vow. Jericho must never be rebuilt, for the one who rebuilds it will pay a terrible price, his firstborn son when he lays the foundations, and his youngest son when he sets the gates in place. Indeed, Jericho should not exist at the time of Jesus. But it was in the time of Ahab, the worst of the kings of the people in the Old Testament, described as having done more evil than all of his predecessors. He would be the king that would necessitate the calling of Elijah, the great prophet, to point a finger at him and accuse him of his sins. It was at his time that a man by the name of Hiel of Bethel rebuilt Jericho, and indeed paid the terrible price, the price of his firstborn son and the price of his youngest son. It seems that he sacrificed them to the idols from whom he was asking protection for the city. Jericho is the last step of Jesus on his way to Jerusalem, a city that already prophesies the city that refuses God and his visitation. But we are not finished yet with Jericho. There remains a big surprise when we reach chapter 19 in the Gospel of St. Luke. Jesus is on his way to Jerusalem, the last station Jericho, and passing through the city, he meets a surprising man of faith, Zacchaeus. Just like the first Jesus, Joshua, son of Nun, in his story of Jericho, there was also a surprising woman of faith, Rahab, who professed her faith and thus was able to save all the people of her household from the destruction of the sinful city. Here, Zacchaeus is like a son of Rahab. Let us listen to what Luke writes about this astonishing meeting in Jericho between Jesus and Zacchaeus. He was trying to see who Jesus was, but on account of the crowd he could not, because he was short in stature. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore tree to see him, because he was going to pass that way. When Jesus came to the place, he looked up and said to him, "Zacchaeus, hurry and come down, for I must stay at your house today." So he hurried down and was happy to welcome him. At the end of this long section in the Gospel of Luke, Zacchaeus is the model disciple, the one whose life is completely turned around by his welcoming of Jesus. In this place in Jericho, we too can pray for that grace that we will welcome Jesus into our lives and be transformed by him.